Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. How is everybody doing today? Just double checking to make sure that we are on Facebook before we get started here. It's just taking a quick second to catch up with us. There we go. So we are popping in on a Saturday. Normally, we're only coming to you on Tuesdays for our migraine strategy call. But today we are here on Saturday because we have a very special interview that we wanted to make sure that we shared with you. Before we dive into that, we have so many new members that I just want to make sure I introduce myself. I am Debbie Waidl. I am a migraine specialist, functional health coach, here to help you find your migraine freedom by reducing the severity, duration, and frequency of your symptoms, getting to the root cause of the problem, and making sure that we don't need to continue to use those medications that are harming us, the quick fixes, the injections, the risky surgeries, and the millions of other things that you have all tried, because that's why you're here. You just have tried it all and you cannot figure out how to end your pain. So we do our best to make sure that whenever we can, we bring you these special interviews so that you can see that migraine freedom is possible. And today, Lisa is here with us. Hi, Lisa. Thanks for joining.
Hello, good to be here. Thank you.
So Lisa is a mom of 3, a grandmother of 8, and she likes to spend some time every day with her kids and grandkids. And when she's not babysitting or visiting, she likes to exercise. She's 58-year-old weightlifter and has been doing so for the last 4 years, which is amazing. Lisa and I were just chatting before we jumped on a little bit about exercise and our love-hate relationship with it, but how we know how important it is to our overall daily health. So Lisa started to have headaches around the time of perimenopause, which so many of you, the same thing. That's why so many of the women that are in this group are between the ages of 40 and 65. And Lisa she suffered from neck pain, vertigo, dizziness, and ear fullness until that pain actually became chronic after menopause. And she was tentatively diagnosed with Meniere's disease, which I know so many of you in this group have heard the same thing. So do me a favor right now while you're watching, and I'm just kind of taking a look, I'm making sure I can watch on Facebook as well. Let me know in the comments if this is you, if you went to your doctor and you were given a tentative diagnosis of Meniere's or an actual diagnosis, or if you suffer with vertigo and dizziness and think that you have no way to be able to end this. But we're here today, excuse me, to say now Lisa says it's unusual for her to have had pain, and she is so grateful. So Lisa, we are going to dive right in and start talking about this Meniere's disease. So Can you back up a little bit and tell us kind of what led to that diagnosis and what it was like for you to actually get that diagnosis?
Well, several years ago, I had my first vertigo attack. I didn't know what it was and went to the doctor. It was vertigo. Well, I got over it. But then it just steadily, it would happen more and more often. It would take longer and longer to recover from it. And it seems as though I would just recover, it would happen again. I began to have a lot of ear fullness and tinnitus and just general dizziness and they call it hyperacusis, I think, means my ear was very sensitive to sound and I just knew something wasn't right. Yeah. I didn't associate it at that time with head pain because I didn't always have head pain. And so I went to the doctor and they ran a few tests and some were indicated that it was a possibility. And so he said, okay, well, then you may have Meniere's. They put me on a low sodium diet and I did that for 6 years. And over that time, my headaches began to be more and more frequent. They went from hormonal, which I thought they were hormonal, to, well, I went through menopause and I knew that wasn't the instance anymore. And so and it just got chronic. It just became chronic. And then that's when I reached out to Debbie. I don't know how I found you, Debbie, but I did, or you found me. So, and that's how I end up with you from the headaches. And I didn't associate the two until,
Absolutely.
I got more information from you, basically.
Yeah. Because everyone feels migraines differently, right? And believe it or not, there are times that you can have a migraine and not even have head pain.
I learned that too.
Yeah.
Yes.
We definitely typically associate those migraines with, they have to be like the typical, right? The pain on one side, the nausea, the auras, but so many times we're getting all of these other warning signals like you did, had the neck pain, the dizziness, and all that kind of thing.
Right.
So for anyone that's watching right now, I just want to backtrack one step because I just, thought about this. Not many people might know what Meniere's disease is. And since that's what we're talking about today, the Mayo Clinic, they say Meniere's disease is a disorder of the inner ear that leads to dizzy spells and vertigo and hearing loss. And as Lisa mentioned, the typical thing that they tell you to do is really lower your sodium. And, this is something that you're going to be stuck with for life. They really don't tell you that there's a way to end it. But we're learning more and more about this diagnosis. One, that even if you have dizziness and you have migraines, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have Meniere's. You may, but it doesn't necessarily mean you do. But a lot of times we're finding what it is an electrolyte imbalance with the body versus being this disorder that cannot be cured.
Right.
So when you were feeling this and when you were dealing with this Meniere's, besides the low sodium diet, was there anything else that you were working on to try to get over this dizziness? And obviously it didn't work too well since we ended up finding each other and working together. But
I really just stuck to the low sodium because that's the only thing they told me to do. Of course, I exercise and I generally eat okay, but migraine does run in my family, but I had never had it before. So I never considered that that's what I had because I was in my mid-50s. So really it was the low sodium and it just wasn't doing the trick. It was just getting worse. Yeah. My headaches became, like I said, chronic. And that's when I met you, is when you helped me put it all together.
And I love how you just mentioned that, menopause did not bring you the results. It actually made things worse.
Absolutely.
I think that is so important for so many of the women in this group to know, because I think there's quite a few of you, well, I know there is because I've talked to you, that are kind of hanging out here waiting for menopause to hit, thinking that then there's going to be this magical sky that opens up and migraines go away. But the women that I talk with, the women I work with, like you, Lisa, it's the total opposite.
It was definitely the total opposite. That's why I never considered it. I just thought, I don't, anyway. Yeah. I thought it was something that you always had.
Exactly. So you weren't feeling great then. You had this advice that wasn't working for you. You joined us in the Freedom from Migraine method. And obviously we worked on many different areas. One of those being getting your electrolytes balanced again, working on nutrition, all those kind of things. So tell us how you feel now. How do you feel different compared to before we met?
Oh, I feel so much better. My headaches are under control for the most part. And I don't live in fear of, just having a daily chronic headache. Oh, that's just so hard. So it's just made my life more relaxing, more enjoyable. And the information I've gotten is what, of course, I can use it all my life. I just learned so much.
Absolutely. And how's the dizziness now? Has that gotten
the
better?
Dizziness is a lot better. It's a lot better. I just, of course, weather changes, or sometimes it'll flare back up a little bit, but Now I know what they are and
Mhm.
why they're there and what to do about it. And I'm not afraid of it. And so I'm so much better. I'm just so much better.
And you can see that hope, right? And I think it's important that we talk about the fact you just mentioned weather. Everything boils down to the threshold. And for those of you that are new to this group, please go to the featured section and take a look at the threshold video that I've done in there. If you can't find it, I believe I'm wearing a light blue shirt, or let us know in the comments and we'll make sure to tag you in there. But it really is about figuring out what your body can handle on a daily basis and making sure that everything we do really raises that threshold nice and high, so that when weather does come into play, or if you're still having your cycle, when that comes into play, you're not tipping over the edge and getting a migraine. And it
Right.
is a work in progress. Lisa worked the program and worked so hard and made such drastic changes. And each and every day, her body continues to heal. So the
Yeah.
longer you go, the less and less those weather changes will impact your migraines.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, you've got some people on here watching you, Lisa. We've got Jamie on. We have another Lisa watching. We have Martina and Karen. So ladies, thank you for joining. And Sonia just popped on. So let me know if anybody is just hopping on. We're talking about Meniere's today, the impact of dizziness on, how you're feeling with migraines, and Lisa's sharing her story. So if any of you are feeling the same, let us know in the comments, and let me know if you have any questions for Lisa. So Lisa, you've been graduated for a while, and we miss you, by the way. We miss everyone when they leave.
Well, I miss y'all too. It's just like a little family.
It really is. It really is. Is there anything that you would like to share, from your experience, anything you'd like to share with the women in the Women's Migraine Freedom Group right now who are just sitting here wondering, oh, well, that's just Lisa, Lisa could take care of herself, but I'm not going to be able to end my migraines because I have X, Y, and Z. Is there anything you'd like to share to these women to give them a little hope?
Well, it's such a welcoming group. Everybody has a history, and we all have that in common, the migraines, the headaches. So there's a lot of encouragement, a lot of good advice, and Debbie is very knowledgeable, and she can for sure help you. I'm just convinced that she can. And just to give it a try. It's worth it. It's worth it. And you won't regret it. Just do it.
All right, ladies, you heard it from Lisa. Just do it. And it is important to know that everyone is different. Everyone that, is in this group does have different health histories, does have different lives. Like we said, Lisa has kids and grandkids, and loves, working out in a particular way. And you might have something different. Someone else watching right now may have a totally different life. They may work full time, have no kids, and have other health conditions. But we all come into this group with migraines and knowing that it is the chronic inflammation that we need to reduce in order to be able to get the results that we're looking for. For Lisa, it helped with her dizziness. It helped with the ear fullness. It helped with the head pain. It helped with the neck pain. For somebody else, it might be stopping the nausea and stopping the auras and stopping the head pain. It's all the same. It does not matter what symptoms we're looking at. Because remember, ladies, symptoms are just our body's way of talking to us. Our body can't speak English, so it gives us symptoms. And those symptoms typically come from whatever the weakest link is in our body. This is where that genetic component comes in. Lisa mentioned, genetics. So, some people's families, that's going to be where the weak link is. When they have inflammation, migraines are going to come out. Some other person's family, their weak link might be heart disease, or it might be Crohn's, or it might be celiac, or whatever. That's why we're all unique there. So, well, Lisa, I can't thank you enough for taking time on your Saturday to come and chat with us and share your experience. It really means so much. And, you are now a big part of helping those 1 in 4 women who are suffering with migraines, finally get some relief so we can change that statistic together.
I hope so. I don't want anyone to have to suffer when it's not totally necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. If anyone has any questions, is it okay for them to pop them in the chat and you and I can kind of keep an eye on this post and answer questions if they have any?
Sure.
Wonderful. Wonderful. All right, ladies, we are going to call it a day since it's Saturday. We are going to all go and enjoy the day because that is part of migraine freedom, right? Making sure that we can do the fun things to honor ourselves and do some self-care. So please go do something fun for yourself today. Let me know what it is in chat. Let me know what you're going to do to honor yourself because you are important. You are worth it. And that's how we find migraine freedom. Lisa, thanks again. And we'll see everybody next week. Take care.
Bye.